Hi, my name's Constantine. I'm going to talk to you about something a little different here. It's actually DUIs, driving under the influence. My topic is the installation of ignition interlock devices for first-time DUI offenders. My uncle is a cop, so this is something he's very passionate about, and he pulls over a lot of people that do drive drunk. So he was one of the people I interviewed and gathered some information about this. So my purpose is to inform my audience about installing car breathalyzers for first-time DUI offenders to decrease deaths related to DUI accidents. By installing car breathalyzers for first-time DUI offenders, this can reduce the number of DUIs that happen, repeated DUIs, second-timers. It can also help with the financial cost of paying for a second DUI, which is very high, and the psychological hardship the offender will have to endure by getting a second DUI. Why do we need to install ignition interlock devices among all first-time DUI offenders? Well, first thing I would like to say is if you just picture a cop coming up to you and you've had, obviously, ingestion of alcohol, it's not a very pleasant picture. He pulls you over for swerving. Just being arrested is probably the last thing anyone in the world wants to have something like that happen to them. So it's pretty much the worst thing that could ever happen to someone. So if you just think about that for a second, it's very unpleasant right there. The need, almost every 90 seconds a person is injured in a drunk driving crash. About 1/3 of all drivers arrested or convicted of drunk driving are repeat offenders, which is a very high statistic. That shows that, people that do get one DUI are going to get a second one. And with that being said, we really need to create a need to have these people that do get convicted of one to not do it again. And that's why I think the ignition interlock is a huge part of making people not get convicted again, do the same thing again, put people's lives at risk. The safety of drivers around the country increases. The number of DUI-related accidents decrease. Every day in America, another 28 people die as a result of drunk driving crashes. That's another huge statistic. Drunk driving costs the United States $132 billion a year. So, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers Association, the National Commission Against Drunk Driving, and others trying to reduce an estimated 17,000 alcohol-related fatalities a year say ignition interlock devices are the only certain way to divide potential drunk drivers from their weapons. Car breathalyzers installed on first-time DUI offenders increase safety on the road, decrease insurance bills and government-related fines that people have to pay, saves lives, and creates less emotional distress amongst first-time offenders who have to deal with the consequences. How the ignition interlock is installed and how it prevents first-time offenders from repeating. The ignition interlock is installed from a mechanic, and it costs about $1,000 to be installed. Every month there's a $60 to $100 monthly checkup maintenance charge that has to be included on it. If the car itself has a reading of any kind of alcohol whatsoever, the car will not start, which prevents the driver from getting in the car and endangering other people's lives. The breathalyzers that need to be used are higher technology or fuel cell sensors, which are more sensitive than semiconductor breathalyzers, and they provide extremely accurate findings. So those are the ones that I propose should be put into the cars of first-time offenders. A number of things could set off false readings on breathalyzer: mouthwash, Listerine, certain lip glosses, makeups, perfumes, and I think smoking cigarettes as well can also give a false reading. So these are just some things to keep out for anyone that does get convicted. My interviewee, Brandon Fucci, stated that if he had a car breathalyzer installed in one of his cars after his first DUI offense, he would have never ended up getting a second one, which I think is a huge piece of information right there. The financial impact of a second DUI, as well as the burden of taking someone's life if it ever comes down to that level. Some of the costs that are associated with a second DUI, insurance can range from $3,000 to $5,000 a month, which is very high for insurance. Fines and court costs are around $5,000. Counseling classes are around $900 is some of the consequences. And difficulty in meeting daily financial obligations is increased without a car. Some people have to quit their job because they have no means of getting there. And then I just went on to mention some of the other things that can happen. Having to pay for a train, cabs. It's not a lot of fun. The psychological hardship the second offender will endure. So I had a little piece of information here. A man from Houston who killed a man while driving drunk has been ordered to wear a sign saying, "I killed Aaron Coy Pennywell while driving drunk." And then it goes on to describe how he had to display a photograph of him as well for, I guess, in his living room actually. The court decided that he had to do that, which is a constant reminder that he took someone's life from drunk driving. So all in all, I think that the last thing you want to do is end up like this person. So I think we need to create a lot of precautionary measures to ensure that this does not happen. And also my interviewee went on to say that when you do get convicted of a DUI, your name appears on Google searches, which includes an in-depth police report of the arrest, which can really taint your reputation for a new job or your career in general. Second-time DUI offenders must also attend a 16-week group counseling program, which costs about $1,000. And you're really in pretty much a room with alcoholics and people that are not really the best mindset, I guess. So it can be a little overbearing at times for anyone who does get convicted of the second one. You also have to do 180 community service hours. Suggestions on how to avoid a DUI collision. Although installing interlock devices on all first-time DUI offenders may decrease the number of DUI accidents, there are still a number of important tips to keep in mind to keep your safety on the road. If possible, try to avoid driving late at night. Statistics show that most DUIs occur between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. 9 p.m. To 6 a.m. Also, always check to see if there are any oncoming cars coming at an intersection. If there's a red light, a lot of statistics show that most DUIs happen at intersections, four-way intersections. Always wear your seatbelt and never step foot in the car of someone who has ingested any alcohol. So in conclusion, I think that with 1.2 million DUIs occurring in 2013 across the United States, it will be hugely beneficial for all DUI offenders to be required to install car breathalyzers for a period of time. The installation of a car breathalyzer will prevent first-time offenders from repeating.